In the silent darkness between stars, a single ship drifted. Its hull was black as night, its design old and forgotten by most of the galaxy. The name engraved on its side read, UHS Valor, a name written in a language almost no one remembered anymore. For thousands of years, space had belonged to the Galactic Alliance, a union of hundreds of alien races. They believed they had mapped every corner of the galaxy, conquered every danger, and written the final chapter of civilization. Humanity was just a story to them now, a legend about a species that had burned too bright and too fast. But the legend was about to return. Signal from the past Admiral Kieran Valos of the Galactic Alliance fleet sat inside his flagship, the Orion Prime, studying a strange transmission. The signal had come from an uncharted sector near the edge of the galaxy. "What is this?" he asked his science officer. The officer bowed slightly, his 4 eyes blinking in confusion. "We are not sure, Admiral. The signal uses an ancient data code, over 10,000 years old. It matches none of our archives except one." Kieran raised an eyebrow. "Except what?" "Except the lost records of humanity, sir." The word made everyone in the command room go silent. Humanity, a name whispered in history lectures and old data scrolls. They were the first species to reach the stars, the first to form colonies beyond their home system. But they had vanished long ago, destroyed by their own wars, or so the galaxy believed. Kieran leaned forward. "Play the message." A hologram appeared, static-filled and broken, but the voice was clear. "This is Commander Elias Kane of the United Human Ship Valor. To whoever receives this, humanity endures. We are not extinct. We are not forgotten. Do not come looking for us. We will find you when the time comes." The message ended. For a moment, no one spoke. Kieran's second-in-command finally broke the silence. "Sir, if that transmission is real, it could mean humans are alive." "Alive," Kieran repeated softly, his mind racing. "And armed." A meeting of the Council within hours, the news spread across the galaxy. The Galactic Council gathered in a great hall that orbited the shining capital world, Illyria Prime. Leaders of hundreds of species appeared as shimmering figures in holographic seats. The oldest among them, a golden-scaled being named Chancellor Thalar, spoke with authority. "This cannot be true," he declared. "Humanity perished millennia ago. The signal must be a trick, perhaps from pirates or rebels." But another voice, cold and precise, answered him. "The data code is genuine. Our historians have confirmed it. The message is from a human vessel." A murmur of disbelief spread across the chamber. "If they have survived," said a red-skinned delegate, "then we must contact them peacefully. Humanity's technology was far beyond anything we have now. Imagine what they could share." Others disagreed. "Or imagine what they could destroy," said another. "We all know what the humans were capable of. They were brilliant but dangerous. If they return, war will follow." Chancellor Thalar raised a clawed hand for silence. "Then we have no choice. We must find this ship and contain the humans before they threaten the balance of the galaxy." It was decided. A fleet of 50 Alliance warships was sent to the edge of known space to locate the source of the human signal. At their head was Admiral Kieran. The Forgotten Sector. The fleet entered the Voral Expanse, a region of dark stars and dead worlds. Sensors picked up nothing at first. No planets, no stations, only silence. Then, suddenly, a single contact appeared on their scanners. "Admiral," reported the sensor officer, "we have a visual. Small vessel class 4 not matching any known design." Kieran's eyes narrowed. "Put it on screen." The ship appeared, black and sleek, glowing faintly blue along its edges. Its design was simple but elegant, efficient in a way that seemed almost artistic. The old human letters were still visible. UHS Valor. "It's real," whispered one of the officers. Kieran's heart beat faster. "Open communications." A soft hum filled the bridge as they sent a message. "Unknown vessel, this is Admiral Kieran of the Galactic Alliance. Identify yourself." For a long moment there was only silence. Then a voice replied, deep and calm. "This is Commander Elias Kane of the UHS Valor. You have entered human territory. State your intentions." Kieran frowned. "Human territory? There is no such thing. Humanity has been gone for over 10,000 years. "Then you are mistaken," the voice said quietly, "because I am here." First contact Kieran tried diplomacy first. "Commander Kane, the Council wishes only to speak with you." Perhaps we can meet and discuss peaceful contact. But Elias Kane did not sound convinced. The last time the galaxy spoke to humanity, you watched as we fell. You took our worlds, erased our name from your history, and left us to die. Why should we trust you now? Kieran hesitated. He could not deny the truth. The ancient alliance had indeed turned away from Earth when it collapsed. Because the galaxy is different now, Kieran said. We want peace. The silence that followed felt heavy. Finally, Elias answered. Peace is earned, not offered. Leave this system and you will not be harmed. Stay, and you will learn how much humanity has changed. The signal cut off. The battle begins, the bridge of Orion Prime, filled with tense whispers. Admiral, should we withdraw? Asked an officer. Kieran looked at the single human ship on his screen. One ship cannot stand against 50. Prepare the fleet. Let's bring them in for questioning. The command was given. Dozens of cruisers formed attack lines, their energy weapons charging. But the Valor did not retreat. Instead, its hull began to glow with strange patterns of light, and the space around it seemed to bend. What is that? Someone gasped. Unknown energy signature, the science officer replied. We can't analyze it. Then it happened. A beam of pure blue light burst from the Valor's core, slicing through the nearest cruiser like it was made of glass. Another ship vanished in an explosion of light. The human ship moved faster than any known engine could allow, weaving through enemy fire as if dancing. The Alliance fleet responded with full force. Thousands of weapons fired at once, turning the void into a storm of light. But when the glow faded, the Valor was still there, untouched. Kieran's voice shook. How are they doing this? No one answered. Every scanner failed to read the ship's energy. Every weapon missed as if time itself refused to touch it. Within minutes, half the fleet was gone. The rest tried to escape, but the Valor was faster. One by one, the ships vanished into silence. When the battle ended, only the Orion Prime remained. Kieran stared at the human ship now floating calmly before him. His comms crackled. Admiral Kieran, said Elias Kane's voice, return to your council. Tell them this. Humanity is not your enemy, but we will not kneel again. The signal cut off, and the Valor disappeared into the darkness. Aftermath. When the wrecked Orion Prime limped back to the capital world, the galaxy trembled. 50 ships, the pride of the Alliance, had been defeated by one vessel. The council met again, this time in fear. How can this be possible? They cried. One ship destroyed our entire fleet. Kieran stood before them, silent for a long time, then said softly, They call themselves human. And they have returned. Across the stars, millions of beings watched the news with disbelief. Some cheered, calling it a myth reborn. Others feared a war that would shake the galaxy itself. And somewhere, hidden in the dark edges of space, the crew of the Valor watched as the galaxy reacted. Commander Elias Kane turned to his crew and said, They remember us now. Let's make sure they never forget again. The stars outside burned bright, like the eyes of a sleeping giant finally awakened. The story of the human ship Valor spread through the galaxy like a storm. Every world, every species, every station, all spoke the same words with fear and wonder. One human ship defeated an entire fleet. It sounded impossible. Yet the wrecks of 50 Alliance ships floating in the Vorel expanse told the truth. For thousands of years, the Galactic Alliance had ruled without question. They believed no power could challenge them. But now a ghost from the past had returned. A ghost called humanity. The Council in panic in the shining capital city of Illyria Prime, the Galactic Council gathered once again. The great chamber was filled with the holograms of hundreds of leaders from every world. Their voices echoed in panic. How can one ship hold such power? Shouted the blue-skinned Senator Varn of the Drail system. They are humans, hissed another delegate. The legends were true. They were builders and destroyers both. They must be stopped before they rise again, cried a third. The oldest being among them, Chancellor Thalar, raised his hand for silence. His golden scales shimmered in the light. We must not panic, he said calmly. The humans were once powerful, yes, but they are only one ship. We have thousands. But Admiral Kieran Valos, the survivor of the destroyed fleet, stood before them with a grim face. With respect, Chancellor, one ship was all it took to end 50 of ours. The chamber fell silent. Kieran continued. They are not using any known technology. Their weapons, shields, and engines, all are beyond our science. It's as if their ship bends the laws of physics. Chancellor Thalar frowned. Then we must learn their secret. Bring me that ship, Admiral, or destroy it. Inside the Valor far away, hidden in the dark of space, the Valor floated silently near a dying star. Inside the command deck, Commander Elias Kane watched holographic images of destroyed Alliance ships fading into the void. His crew worked quietly around him. Lieutenant Mira, his tactical officer, looked up from her console. "Sir, they'll come again. This time with everything they've got." Elias nodded. "I know." Behind them, Dr. Ren Hale, the science officer, adjusted the ship's main reactor readings. "Our energy levels are stable, but if we keep using full power, the drive core will need time to recover." Elias turned to the ship's AI, Astra, whose soft female voice echoed through the bridge. "Astra, estimate how long before the Alliance finds us." "Based on their search patterns," Astra replied, "approximately 7 hours." "Then we move," Elias said. "Plot a course to the Ardent Nebula. We'll hide there for now." As the crew prepared, Mira hesitated. "Commander, are we really going to fight the whole galaxy?" Elias looked out at the stars. "We don't want war. But if the galaxy forces us, we'll show them what it means to be human." The lost history of humanity. In the quiet of the mess hall, the crew gathered for a short meal. Only 12 humans lived aboard the Valor. Each one was from a different hidden colony, survivors of the long exile. Dr. Ren Hale spoke softly, staring at his hands. "Do you think they even remember what they did to us?" Engineer Sarah Jin, the youngest crew member, shook her head. "They don't. To them, we're just myths." Elias entered the room and stood near the viewport where the stars glowed faintly. "That's why they fear us," he said. "They know what humanity once was." Mira looked at him curiously. "Tell me again, Commander. Why did we go into hiding?" Elias sighed. "When Earth fell, the galaxy turned its back. Our colonies were destroyed, our cities forgotten. But some escaped. Small groups scattered across uncharted space. They built again, quietly, carefully, learning from every mistake. We became ghosts in the dark," Ren added. "And now, after thousands of years, the galaxy thinks it owns the stars we first reached." Elias's eyes hardened. "Then it's time to remind them who showed them the way." The room fell silent. Every crew member felt the same fire burning inside, the same pride that had once carried humanity to the stars. The transmission hours later, Astra's voice echoed through the ship. "Commander, incoming message, Galactic Council priority signal." Elias nodded. "Let's hear it." The main screen lit up, revealing the council chamber. Dozens of alien leaders glared at him through the transmission. Chancellor Thalar spoke first. "Commander Kane, you have destroyed 50 ships of the Alliance. You have violated interstellar law. Explain yourself." Elias stood tall, his voice steady. "Your ships entered our territory. We warned them. They refused to leave." "Humanity has no territory," shouted one alien angrily. "You are extinct." Elias's eyes were calm but cold. "If we were extinct, Admiral Chiron would not be standing before you today." Chiron looked down, remembering the battle. He knew the human spoke the truth. Thalar narrowed his eyes. "If you wish peace, surrender your vessel. Allow us to study your technology. Then perhaps the Council will spare you." Elias almost smiled. "Spare us? Chancellor, humanity doesn't need your mercy. We only ask for respect." "Respect?" Thalar's voice turned sharp. "You are 12 survivors clinging to a relic. The galaxy belongs to us now." "Then we'll take it back," Elias said quietly. "Not to rule it, but to remind it that humans never give up." Before anyone could reply, he cut the transmission. The bridge went silent. Mira whispered, "They won't forgive that." "I know," Elias said. "That's why we'll strike first." The human planned deep inside the Valor's engine room. Energy lights pulsed rhythmically as the ship prepared for warp. Astra's soft voice filled the air. "Tactical suggestion. A preemptive attack on their supply network could delay the next fleet." Elias approved. "Good. Target the nearest communication relay hub. Minimal destruction, just enough to make them hesitate." Mira smiled faintly. "That's very human of you, Commander. Hit hard, disappear, make them doubt," Elias chuckled. "Exactly." The Valor entered warp space in a glowing tunnel of blue and white light. Within moments, the ship appeared near a giant relay station orbiting a dead planet. Alliance ships guarded the station, unaware that history was about to repeat itself. "Engage stealth systems," Elias ordered. The Valor faded from sensors, invisible and silent. It moved like a shadow across the void. A single pulse of light erupted from its underbelly, striking the station's power core. There was no explosion, only a brief flash before the lights went dark. Every ship in orbit went silent. "Relay disabled," reported Astra. Elias smiled slightly. "Let them wonder." The Alliance strikes back on Illyria Prime. Chaos spread as communication lines across sectors failed. Reports came in from colonies and fleets, systems going dark one by one. Chancellor Thaler slammed his clawed hand on the table. "They are attacking us from the shadows. Find them," Admiral Kieran, calmer than the rest, said. "You can't find what doesn't want to be found. They are humans, unpredictable, resourceful, and impossible to corner." Thaler glared. "Then we burn every world they might hide on." Kieran shook his head slowly. "You don't understand, Chancellor. The more we fight them, the stronger they become. I saw it. They adapt in seconds. They learn faster than any species I've ever seen." Thaler's voice trembled with frustration. "Then what do you suggest?" Kieran looked out the window at the stars. "We pray they still want peace." The message hours later, a new signal appeared on every major channel in the galaxy. It was from the Valor. The human commander's face appeared again, calm and proud. "This is Commander Elias Kane of the United Human Ship Valor. You fear us because you remember what humanity once was. We do not seek war, but we will not bow. We are the children of Earth, explorers, builders, and survivors. If the galaxy wants peace, come to us with respect. If it wants war, remember Varel 9. The message ended. All across the stars, worlds went silent. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Alliance felt fear, not from an enemy of numbers, but from one ship, one crew, and one unbroken species. The quiet. Before the storm, in the darkness beyond known space, the Valor rested near a crimson nebula. Its engines were quiet, its lights dim. Inside, the crew gathered in the control room. "Do you think they'll listen?" Mira asked softly. Elias looked out the window at the endless night. "No, not yet." "Then what happens next?" Ren asked. Elias turned toward his crew. "Then we show them why they should have never forgotten humanity." The ship's engines began to hum. The stars outside seemed to twist as the Valor vanished into the void, silent, unstoppable, and very, very human. The galaxy was on edge. Every planet, every outpost, every species spoke of the same thing: the return of the Valor, the last human ship. The stories grew with each telling. Some said it was a ghost ship powered by the souls of its dead crew. Others said it carried ancient weapons that could destroy stars. But the truth was simple. It was human, and that alone was enough to terrify the entire galaxy. The gathering storm Admiral Kieran. Valo stood inside the command room of the Illyria Fortress, the largest battle station ever built by the Galactic Alliance. The Council had ordered him to lead a new war fleet, not 50 ships this time, but 500. It was the largest armada assembled in centuries. Massive dreadnoughts, swift cruisers, and drone carriers filled the void like a sea of shining metal. Their weapons glowed with power, their shields bright as suns. Yet even with all that strength, Kieran felt uneasy. He turned to his science officer. "Any trace of the human ship?" "None, sir," replied the officer. "It's as if it vanished completely." Kieran sighed. "It hasn't vanished. It's watching us." Waiting for the right moment, the officer looked confused. "How can one ship fight 500, Admiral?" Kieran looked out the viewport into the endless dark. "Because it's human, and humans never fight fair." Inside the Valor far away, hidden within the glowing clouds of the ardent nebula, the Valor floated quietly, its hull reflecting red light from the swirling gases. Inside, Commander Elias Kane studied holograms of the new enemy fleet. "They're bringing everything this time," said Lieutenant Mira, standing beside him. 500 ships, maybe more." Elias nodded slowly. "They're afraid. That makes them dangerous." Dr. Ren Hale adjusted the readings on his console. "Our power core is stable again. Astra has finished recalibrating the defense grid. We can take heavy fire, but not forever." The ship's AI, Astra, spoke softly, her voice calm and steady. Commander, probability of survival against 500 ships less than 1%. Elias smiled faintly. Then it's enough. The crew looked at him with silent confidence. They had faced the impossible before, and survived. Prepare the stealth field, Elias ordered. Let's pay our friends a visit. A fleet without fear, the Alliance Armada moved through the Rhinus Belt, a vast field of ice and rock that glittered in the light of a distant star. Admiral Kieran stood on the bridge of his flagship, Orion Prime 2. Activate long-range scanners, he commanded. Scanning. Wait, I have something, said the officer suddenly. Sector 935, small energy signature. Could be. Before he could finish, the entire sensor array went dark. What happened? Kieran shouted. Static filled the speakers. Then through the noise came a calm voice. This is Commander Elias Kane of the United Human Ship Valor. You have crossed into human space. Turn back, Kieran's heart sank. He's here. Target lock, shouted another officer. The human ship is decloaking. The battle begins. Out of the swirling ice field, the Valor appeared, black and sleek, glowing faintly blue at its edges. 500 ships turned their weapons toward it. Energy cannons charged, missiles armed, shields raised. Elias stood firm on the bridge. Astra, full power to shields. Target the command vessels. Targets locked, replied Astra. Fire. A beam of light brighter than a sun burst from the Valor's core, slicing through space. The first enemy dreadnought exploded instantly, its debris scattering like sparks in the dark. Then the sky came alive. Hundreds of beams and missiles flew toward the human ship, lighting up the void like 1,000 falling stars. Inside the Valor, the deck shook violently. Shields holding at 80%. Mira shouted. Stay focused, Elias said. They can't hit what they can't catch. The ship darted between the enemy lines with impossible speed, its movements unpredictable, like a living thing. It fired short, sharp bursts, every shot precise, every strike fatal. Alliance ships tried to surround it, but the human vessel danced through their formation, vanishing and reappearing with bursts of light. Within minutes, dozens of ships were gone. Admiral Kieran's decision, Kieran watched in disbelief as his fleet fell apart. They're not fighting us and they're dismantling us. His officer shouted, Admiral, we've lost the third formation. They're being cut down one by one. Kieran's hands trembled. He had seen this before, and the first time he met the Valor. And now it was happening again, only on a far larger scale. Order all ships to scatter, he said. Make them chase targets they can't find. The fleet broke formation, spreading out across the belt. Asteroids shattered as ships tried to find cover, but the Valor adapted. Its sensors predicted every move. Its weapons fired faster than any known system could track. One by one, the shining ships of the Alliance vanished into clouds of flame and dust. The turning point. Mira shouted, Commander, we can't keep this up. Our shields are dropping to 40%. Elias nodded. Then we changed tactics. He turned to Astra. Deploy the solar mirrors. From the sides of the Valor, massive panels unfolded, each one reflecting the light of the nearby star. They focused the energy into a narrow beam, pure, concentrated sunlight. Target the enemy command ship, Elias ordered. Astra fired. A golden ray shot across the battlefield, cutting through the flagship's shields like paper. The Orion Prime 2 shook as alarms blared. Kieran gripped his console. They're using the star itself as a weapon. His communications officer shouted, We can't take another hit like that. Kieran took a deep breath. All ships retreat. Pull back to the fortress. But before they could escape, the Valor released one final pulse. A wave of energy that disabled every ship's engine in range. The entire fleet went dark. The battle was over. Face to face, the Valor approached the damaged Orion Prime 2. Inside, Kieran stood alone on the bridge as his crew worked to restore power. The comms crackled again. Admiral Kieran, said Elias's voice. This fight is over. You've lost enough lives. Kieran looked up at the screen. The human commander appeared, calm, confident, and tired. You could have destroyed us all, Kieran said. Why didn't you? Because we're not here to conquer, Elias replied. We're here to remind you that humanity still stands. We don't want your worlds or your power. We only want peace and respect. Kieran stared at him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. You've already earned it. Elias smiled faintly. Then maybe there's still hope for this galaxy. The transmission ended, and the Valor turned away, vanishing into the endless dark. The aftermath hours later, the survivors of the battle were rescued. News of the human victory spread across every star system. Billions watched the recordings of the Valor's impossible battle. Some saw fear, others saw hope. In the Galactic Council, Chancellor Thaler shouted in anger, "One ship humiliated 500 of ours. This is unacceptable. We must destroy them before they rise again." But not everyone agreed. Admiral Kieran stood before the council and said firmly, "If you fight them again, you will lose again. Not because of their weapons, but because of what they are. They believe in something greater than power. They believe in survival, and that makes them unstoppable." The chamber fell silent. A moment of calm back aboard the Valor, the crew floated in silence as they drifted through deep space. The stars outside shimmered softly. Lieutenant Mira looked at Elias. "Do you think they'll leave us alone now?" Elias smiled faintly. "No. But maybe they'll think twice before trying again." Dr. Ren Hale added quietly, "We can't keep fighting forever." Elias nodded. "I know. But every time we fight, we remind them. Humanity never disappears. Even when we fall, we rise again." Astra's gentle voice echoed through the ship. "Commander, message intercepted. Broadcast from the council." "They wish to meet." Mira's eyes widened. "A peace meeting?" Elias looked out at the stars. Maybe, or maybe another trap. He smiled slightly. "Either way, humanity will be ready." The Valor turned, its engines glowing blue once more. It moved toward the light of a distant system, one ship carrying the pride of an entire species. The legend grows. Across the galaxy, children began to whisper stories again. Stories about the humans. The first to reach the stars, the last to give up. The ones who faced the impossible and won. And somewhere in the heart of the void, the Valor continued its journey, silent, unbroken, and human to the core. The galaxy had learned one lesson it would never forget. You can defeat armies. You can destroy worlds, but you can never destroy the human spirit. The battle over the Crimson Nebula became the center of the galaxy's attention. Every world, every species, every fleet command was watching the same impossible sight. A single human ship, the Valor, standing alone against thousands of warships. The Galactic Alliance had gathered all of its strength. There were over 10,000 ships from 50 different species. Their weapons could melt planets, their shields could block stars, and their fleets were organized with perfect discipline. Yet still, they hesitated. Floating in the darkness before them was one small vessel, ancient in design, black and silver, its hull marked with the symbol of the forgotten world called Earth. No one in the galaxy could understand how such a small ship had already destroyed 3 full fleets. No one except the humans themselves. Inside, the Valor, the bridge was calm. The glow from control panels filled the air with soft light. Commander Elias Kane stood at the center, his hands clasped behind his back. His crew worked silently, their faces steady, though every one of them knew that death was close. Lieutenant Mira looked up from her console. "They've surrounded us, sir. No clear path to escape." Elias nodded slowly. "We never planned to escape." Chief Engineer Darius chuckled lightly. "Guess it's time to show them the storm." The commander's lips curved into a faint smile. "Exactly." The ship's AI Astra projected a small blue image beside Elias. "All systems are stable. Energy reserves at 90%. I suggest we begin Phase 3 of the defense protocol." "Do it," Elias said. As Astra's digital form disappeared, the lights across the ship dimmed. A deep hum echoed through the hull as ancient engines came alive, glowing with a strange blue-white light. Energy rippled across the Valor's surface, forming a faint barrier that shimmered like liquid glass. Lieutenant Mira whispered, "They think we're weak, sir." Elias answered softly, "Let them think. It will make the victory sweeter." Outside, the enemy fleets began to move. Thousands of ships aligned their weapons, targeting the small human vessel in the center. The command channel filled with orders shouted in dozens of alien languages. Admiral Kieran, the Alliance's supreme commander, watched from his flagship. His face was pale, He had fought wars for centuries, but he had never faced something that defied reason. "Fire," he commanded, and the sky lit up. Beams of energy, missiles, plasma bolts, and quantum torpedoes rained toward the Valor. The explosion filled the nebula with a blinding storm of light. The sensors of nearby ships went white from overload. For a moment, no one could see anything at all. Then the light faded. The human ship still stood. The shields shimmered, glowing brighter than ever before. The weapon fire had done nothing. Not a scratch. The alien commanders froze in disbelief. Admiral Kieran shouted, "How is this possible?" Their shields should have collapsed, but Elias Kane's voice came through every communication channel at once. Calm, cold, human. "You fight with numbers," he said. "We fight with purpose." In that instant, the Valor struck back. From its sides, glowing lines extended outward, invisible at first, then bursting into light. Beams of pure energy sliced through the enemy ranks like cutting blades. Ships exploded one after another, breaking apart into dust and debris. The nebula became a sea of fire. The colors of destruction painted the stars, gold, red, and blue swirling together. Inside the human ship, Darius shouted, "Targeting 10 ships per volley. Firing spread pattern Alpha 7. Mira adjusted the systems. "Enemies adapting, sir. But we're still outpacing them." Elias kept his eyes on the screen. "Don't stop. Keep the pressure." The battle lasted for hours. The galaxy's greatest fleet, the pride of 1,000 civilization, was losing to one small human ship. Every few minutes, another group of enemy vessels vanished in fire. But the Valor was not untouched. Its shields flickered. The hull shook. Warning lights flashed red. Even with its advanced technology, the strain was becoming too much. Astra appeared again, her voice calm but urgent. "Commander, structural damage is rising. If this continues, the ship will not hold." Elias took a deep breath. "Then we finish this before we fall." Meanwhile, on the flagship of the Alliance, Admiral Kieran stared at the destruction with wide eyes. His fleet was collapsing. Every strategy, every weapon failed. "This is not technology," he whispered. "It's willpower." He finally understood. The humans weren't stronger because of their machines. They were stronger because of what drove them. They fought not to conquer, not for pride, but because they refused to give up. It was a kind of power the galaxy had forgotten long ago. Back on the Valor, the engines roared louder. Elias looked at his crew, the last humans alive. They were tired, their faces pale, but their eyes were still bright. "This is our moment," he said. "Humanity fell once because we forgot who we were. Today the galaxy will remember." Every crew member nodded. Mira smiled faintly. "For Earth." "For Earth," they all repeated. The final phase began. The Valor opened its hidden core, a weapon built from the ancient knowledge of human science and the endless energy of the stars themselves. Its true name was the Heart of Sol. The device gathered light from the nebula, pulling energy from every nearby sun. The space around the ship began to glow white, brighter and brighter until even the enemy ships had to turn away. The fleet tried to escape, but it was too late. Elias gave the final order. "Activate the heart." A silent wave spread across the void. It was not an explosion, but a ripple, a surge of pure energy that swept through the fleets like a storm. Ships froze mid-flight, their systems disabled, weapons powered down, engines went dark. In moments, the massive armada of the Alliance drifted helplessly in space. The Valor stood at the center, its engines glowing like a miniature sun. Admiral Kieran's voice broke through the static. "Commander Kane, stop this." "You've proven your strength. What do you want?" Elias answered softly. "We want peace, but if peace means surrender, then we'll fight until the stars themselves burn out." Silence filled the comms. No one dared to reply. Finally, the Admiral spoke again, his voice heavy with respect. "Then perhaps the galaxy needs to learn from you." "Not destroy you," Elias nodded. "Then learn quickly, because humanity is back." As the Valor turned away, leaving behind a field of silent ships and glowing debris, the galaxy watched in awe. News spread faster than light about the humans who returned, the single ship that fought 1,000 fleets, and the commander who reminded the stars what courage meant. For the first time in thousands of years, the galaxy did not fear humanity. It respected them. and as the ship disappeared into the shining mist of the nebula, Astra's voice echoed softly across the bridge. "Where to now, Commander?" Elias smiled. "Home, wherever we decide to build it." The galaxy was silent. For the first time in centuries, 1,000 civilizations paused. Stars shimmered as though holding their breath. Entire fleets drifted in place, their engines cold, their weapons quiet. They had witnessed something extraordinary. The humans had returned. One ship, a vessel built by long-forgotten hands, had defeated the might of the Galactic Alliance. But the valor was not finished. The journey. Home deep in the outer rim, Commander Elias Kane stood at the bridge, watching the stars streak past the viewport. Behind him, his crew worked quietly, their eyes bright despite fatigue. Lieutenant Mira approached. "Sir, reports from the galaxy. They're talking about us everywhere. Some worlds want peace. Some want revenge." Elias nodded slowly. "Let them. Humanity is not here to conquer. But we cannot hide anymore. It's time to show the galaxy who we are. Not as myths, not as legends, but as a people who survived and thrived." Dr. Renhale adjusted his console. "We can return to the hidden colonies. They will be ready to join us. We've prepared them for centuries." Elias turned toward the map. The locations of the last human settlements glowed faintly. Scattered secret worlds hidden in forgotten corners of space. "Set course," he said. "It's time to gather our people. The galaxy needs to see the full strength of humanity. The hidden colonies awaken one by one. The secret human colonies stirred. On the icy world of Tyria 9, children of old Earth listened to the broadcasts of the Valor's victories. Teachers paused, elders whispered, and young scientists ran to their workstations. "They're real," one child said. "We're not alone." On the jungle planet of Viridian Prime, farmers stopped their work in the glowing green fields, staring up at the stars. "It's them," whispered a mother. "The humans? They've returned." Each colony sent ships, small at first, then larger, older vessels equipped with weapons, shields, and engines designed in secret for centuries. Humanity was rising from the shadows, not for war, but to reclaim its place among the stars. A meeting of Titans back aboard the Valor, Elias watched the growing fleet. "They'll follow us," he said. "And when they do, they will see what humanity is capable of when united." Mira glanced at him, concerned. "Do you think the galaxy will ever forgive us?" Elias shook his head. "Forgive? Maybe not, but they will respect us. That is enough." Astra's calm voice interrupted. "Incoming communication. Galactic Council request. They wish to meet with the commander of the Valor and representatives of human colonies." Elias turned. "Then we go, not as enemies, but as humans. We must show them who we are before anyone else can decide for us." The Council of the Galaxy. The Galactic Council had convened in a new chamber, built after the destruction of previous fleets. This time it was massive, orbiting a neutral star to avoid bias toward any species. Leaders of thousands of worlds appeared in holographic form. Admiral Kieran Valos stood beside the council. He had survived the last encounter, and he now spoke with quiet urgency. "They are humans," he said to the council. "Not legends. Not myths. Real beings who will fight with courage, skill, and unity. I have never seen such strength, not in any fleet." Chancellor Thaler's golden eyes shone with cautious respect. "Then what is our proposal, Admiral?" Chiron bowed. "Peace, but with honesty. Let them speak first." Elias Kane's image appeared on the central screen. Behind him were representatives from the human colonies, 12 worlds united under the banner of Earth. "Leaders of the galaxy," Elias began, "we come not to fight. We come not to conquer. We come to show that humanity endures. We survived extinction, scattered to the stars, and we learned. We learned to adapt. We learned to survive, and now we are ready to return, not as threats but as partners. As equals." The chamber was silent. No one moved. No one spoke, then slowly one leader stepped forward. A silver-skinned diplomat named Vorin said, "Your deeds cannot be denied. You have defeated fleets, yet you seek peace. That is remarkable," Elias nodded. "Remarkable, perhaps, but necessary. Humanity knows what war costs. We will not repeat the mistakes of the past, but we will defend ourselves, and we will remind the galaxy why humans are never forgotten." The first alliance over the next weeks, the human colonies joined with the Valor. Fleets of small ships became squadrons, squadrons became armadas. Humanity's presence in the galaxy could no longer be hidden. And yet the humans did not attack. They only moved to strategic positions, showing their power, but offering peace to any who accepted it. Worlds that had once feared humanity now approached them cautiously. Trade agreements were made. Scientific knowledge was shared. And slowly, trust began to grow. Even the Galactic Alliance, once arrogant and proud, began to realize something the galaxy had forgotten for millennia. Humans were not just survivors. Humans were innovators, leaders, and unifiers. The shadow of war, not all were pleased. Some factions in the galaxy wanted to fight. They saw humans as a threat, a species that could not be controlled. A secret coalition of rogue fleets prepared to strike, believing they could destroy the human resurgence before it grew too large. But Elias Kane anticipated this. Every ship, every colony, every fleet was ready. Humanity had learned to fight not with sheer numbers, but with strategy, intelligence, and determination. When the rogue fleet attacked, they found themselves trapped in a coordinated ambush. They were not destroyed, as not yet, but they were shown clearly the strength of a united human species. The message was simple. Humans will fight for survival. Humans will fight for each other, and they cannot be defeated easily. A new era begins. Months passed, and humanity became a recognized presence in the galaxy. The Valor and its fleet no longer needed to hide. Human representatives attended the Galactic Council openly. They brought new ideas, new technologies, and new ways of thinking. Old conflicts began to resolve. The galaxy, once arrogant in its power, now learned from the resilience and ingenuity of humans. Admiral Kieran stood beside Elias on the observation deck of the Valor. "You've changed everything," he said softly. Elias looked out at the stars. "We didn't come back to change everything. We came back to survive, but when humans survive, they inspire others to be better." Mira smiled. "The galaxy will never forget this." "No," Elias agreed. "And they should not. Humanity is not a story of the past. Humanity is the future." The legacy of Earth. Elias turned to the distant stars, remembering a world that no longer existed. Earth and blue-green alive once Cone had been the cradle of humanity. "The galaxy may never see Earth," he said quietly, "but they will see what it created. They will see the spirit of our people carried across the stars." Astra's voice echoed softly. "Commander, human colonies are fully operational. All systems online." Elias nodded. "Then let's build the future." The Valor's engines hummed to life once more. Stars streaked past the viewport. Humanity's fleet moved forward, not as survivors of extinction, but as a force for knowledge, unity, and hope. The galaxy had learned something it would never forget. You can destroy a species' home. You can scatter its people. You can try to erase them from history. But you cannot erase humanity. Not ever. The stars remember, and so the humans began a new era. Not with war, not with conquest, but with courage and wisdom. The Valor led the way, a symbol of what humanity had endured and what it had achieved. Planets once forgotten now thrived under human guidance. Scientific discoveries reshaped civilizations. Trade routes flourished. Old enemies began to cooperate. All across the galaxy, the story of one ship and 12 humans became legend. Not a tale of fear, but a tale of hope, resilience, and the unstoppable will of humanity. And as the stars stretched infinitely ahead, one thought echoed through the minds of every human on the bridge of the Valor. This is only the beginning. The dawn of humanity had come.